Pickleball lovers, super slow motion of the backhand flick and roll. Let's learn something, but let's not forget to have a good day. Pickleball lovers, now is the time for innovation at the Pickleball Pirates. What's the difference between a backhand flick and roll in pickleball? I would say it's extremely simple. If it's higher than the net, we're hitting a flick. If it's lower than the net and we want to speed it up, we're hitting a roll.
It's going to be a good night. We have pros hitting the backhand flick. We have super slow motion of that flick and roll. We have trivia. Is this a flick or roll? And what do I do in different scenarios?
So with the flick, I'm going more this way with my wrist, more horizontal.
This is a pro situation. Take a look at this backhand flick. 2 backhand flicks hit by Dylan Frazier and J.W. Johnson. I love watching those two, and they are offensive, right? This is a block flick. It could be a reset, but they're not. They are actually flicking their wrist at the ball, and they gain advantage, and they win the point. When you think of a flick it down at your opponent's feet, because J.W. Johnson didn't exactly get it where he wanted, did he? They still won the point, and it was a great counterpunch. This is Cliff Pickleball in the near left-hand corner. Joey, tell me a little more.
With a roll, I'm going more low to high, up to down. Drop that wrist, and I have to brush up on it, right? Brush up.
Cliff plays pro. He's a 5.0 plus, and he has extremely advanced backhand roll.
Now let's see super slow motion of the backhand roll.
That was the name of this video after all. Go ahead, Joey.
The main problem with the backhand roll, people hitting it too fast. It's below the net. We want to surprise our opponents. We don't have to win the point on that shot. We want to set up the following shot. So hit it at 60%.
If you hit the pickleball at 60% with a lot of spin, you want it to spin down because you're hitting from below the net, right? Look at the wrist drop. Why does the wrist drop? Because the grip is so loose on that paddle. The grip's not loose on this paddle, and I can't roll it. I hit it right in the net. It's a loose grip up until impact. And why did I miss this one? It's the main thing 3.0 and 3.5 pickleball players do wrong. They don't lead with the shoulder. It's not a wristy shot. The wrist comes over it. Mike Forster, top right-hand corner, will show you exactly how to hit amazing advanced backhand roll. When I say advanced backhand roll, look at that wrist movement. As the shoulder's coming through, he's letting that wrist drop. But take a look at the one coming up and take a look how he sets it up, right? Because having a backhand roll, like with great power, comes great responsibility.
When you hit that flick or roll at your opponent, aim for the right hip or right shoulder for a right-handed player. It will handcuff them.
So I keep saying advanced backhand roll. This is an example of a decent backhand roll slash flick, right? Because he's not getting that crazy wrist movement on it like Mike Forster, Cliff Pickleball. And take a look, BJ has a really good backhand flick or roll and doesn't use it. So when do you use a good backhand roll? Take a look at Tony Giannani. He's in the near right-hand corner, and he almost uses it to toy with his opponents. Look at him. Look at his body language. Look at that backhand roll, because that very well could have been a dink, right? In many cases, when you first learn that backhand roll, you love it, then it gets you in a lot of trouble, so you have to know when to use it. Check our description. This is one product you can use because it really shows you the difference between a roll and a flick, right? Because Rob is rolling that. If he tried to flick it, he might break that whole machine. It doesn't break. Here's another really good tool.
Like this, you can do this too, but I don't know. That's too risky.
Is this a flick or a roll? Flick. I would say flick. I think you're correct, audience.
Now let's see super slow motion of the backhand flick.
Flicks will have less topspin because you're hitting from above the net on a flick, right? And look at my offhand, my left hand. It's giving me balance. Every time a client comes, I explain this to them and they look at me and say, it feels weird. Well, it does. It does at first, but it's going to give you better balance, which will allow you to look quicker in pickleball, because better balance is so important and it's the reason you look slow. It really is. The key to this shot is balance. If you're balanced and you hit a really good shot, you should say, look, I was balanced, that's why I did it. That way, I'm not really falling. If you take a look at this example, what am I doing wrong? Nothing, actually. That was actually a really good shot. But what am I doing wrong in this example?
A good forehand flick utilizes shoulder, right? A great forehand flick utilizes the wrist with the shoulder. the wrist with the shoulder. Kind of tough to explain, but it's true.
So in those examples, I was way too wristy. If you go back and look, way too wristy. And take a look at this example. Look at my offhand, and it's throwing me off balance. So you might not have vertigo. You might just have to use your other pillar of balance, your left hand. If you're right-handed, congratulations, you made it to the game. Is this a flick or roll? Yeah, I would have rolled more. You're correct. You're very smart. Now this is another example of a roll, I believe. Jeez, this night just keeps getting better because the Pickleball Pirates keeps things fun as you learn more. Now, is this a flick or a roll? What's the point? That's a tennis roll. That's Joe Perez. Joe Perez was an amazing tennis player. So you should know your opponents before you play them, because if they have that shot, you have to look out for it. It is deadly. And if your opponents play tennis, they might shake and bake, poach. Mark Napatovic is in the red shirt. He's pinching middle. Pinching middle means you're really straddling the kitchen, and he's hitting that shot. So that is more of a flick. Yeah, I agree. That is a flick. You're a very smart audience. You might listen to me more. I have more videos. That gotta be a roll. That's Joe Perez. He was a tennis phenom. His son's pretty incredible, plays pro, and that is a tennis roll. I'm doing really well. You're doing really well at home, unless you're watching in the car. Then I would say you probably shouldn't be watching in the car, unless you're not driving, you know? But that's a roll. That's a ping pong roll. Mark Napatovic comes from badminton, so lots of times if you see your opponents come from those sports, they'll be wristier. Different strokes for different folks. Now this is another ping pong roll, badminton roll, whatever you want to call it. Look at this shot. This is an off-speed backhand roll at the head that would have went in because it has so much topspin from those groove and paddles, which you could check the description for. In this point, watch Mark Napatovic in the blue shirt. He does something incredible. He straddles middle when his partner was out wide, because in amateur play, you don't always have to run to the middle all the time. Why don't you let your partner really help you out? Hit that backhand flick or roll. I believe that's a roll.
Pickleball lovers, have you seen slow motion the backhand mechanics? It was so good. And don't forget to have a good day.